With copy pictures, what you want to do is try and avoid using the flash. The flash with copy pictures, because you're so close to your subject, you may blow out the text in the paper or the picture or whatever you're taking a picture of. It may get overexposed because the flash is so close. So what you want to do is make sure your flash is turned off. In your case, if you don't see the flash off, you can just press the little flash button there, get to the flash options, and use the dial or the left and right navigation buttons to choose the flash off icon. Hit set or give it a second to go away. Now that the flash is off, you're going to want to set your white balance. Again, remember in the getting started how we set the white balance to the shortcut button. Press the shortcut button and set your white balance accordingly. If you are outdoors, and I would recommend if you can be outdoors in the shade, that'll get you enough light and you can set this to the daylight. If you are indoors, for example, in a library and you're copying a book, or the only light source you have is a tungsten light bulb, you would want to use tungsten. So choose the right white balance setting for your needs. Go ahead and press set. Now what you want is the macro mode. Go ahead and press the little macro button right here, the left navigation button, and either move the wheel or press the left and right navigation buttons to choose macro. Once you have that little flower icon, that means you can focus very, very close. Now it's very important when you focus close to not zoom in. You don't want to zoom into your subject like this because you actually won't be able to focus quite as close. You want to zoom out all the way and physically get closer to the subject. So you will be able to focus on anything at about 2 feet away up to a few centimeters away, maybe even a centimeter away from your subject. So keep that in mind. Finally, make sure your ISO is set up properly. And the way you test this is by simply pressing the shutter button halfway. Go ahead and press the shutter button halfway. Now we're not using the flash, so right now mine is set to 80 ISO, and I can see that I have 1/160th of a second, which I can hand hold, and that should not be a problem. In your case, if you are in a very low light situation, for example, that library situation, you may want to increase the ISO. So just turn your ISO dial. Keep in mind we are in the program mode, not the auto mode. The program mode allows us control over the ISO and the white balance. Turn that ISO dial up as high as you need. You can keep testing it every now and again to see that you are over 1/60th of a second. Anything slower than 1/60th of a second is going to be pretty difficult to hand hold, but not impossible. So if you're close to 1/60th of a second, 1/30th of a second, 1/45th of a second, that can also be fine. And I would again just test it. You can definitely take a picture and then look at it in the playback mode and see whether it's in focus or not. If increasing the ISO is not enough and you absolutely have to use the flash, what I would recommend doing is two things. One, go ahead and turn the flash compensation down. So press the function button to access the function menu and go down to the flash exposure compensation and turn this down to -2. -2 will get you a very, very low power flash as to not blow out the subject. So hit set. Next thing, because you're using the flash, you don't want to be too close to the subject because the lens will actually leave a shadow. Sometimes you can get so close that this lens will block the flash from getting to certain areas of your picture. So you don't want to get too close to the subject when you're using the flash in this case. Of course, make sure that the flash is turned on. Press the flash button and move that over to flash on. Hit set. Just like with other pictures, press the shutter button halfway and make sure the focusing square has turned green, indicating that the camera is in focus. If the focus is very, very critical, I would recommend testing this in the playback mode. What I mean by that is go ahead and take your picture, press the shutter button halfway. Remember, this is very important. Wait for that double beep and that little green square in the center. That means that the focus has locked and I can go ahead and take my picture. So I'll take the picture. And then in the playback mode, you can press the play button to go there. and make sure this picture is in focus. Right now, even though it looks like it's in focus, I can't really tell because I have not zoomed in to see the pixels. So with your zoom lever, magnify the image just by zooming into it. Zoom in as close as you can, and you can move around, and I can actually see the texture on the plastic, so I know that this is in focus. Zoom out, and that's it. To find out much more about digital photography and your digital camera, go to lbguides.com.